Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of podcast series in HR to CHRO. And today we have Mr. Sudipto Mandal with us. He's had a long career in HR. He started his career with Eveready, then joined Oracle, then in Asian Paints, then he joined Spencer Retail, Zest Group, Star Cement, and he's one of the few HR professionals who also had experience of starting their own consulting firm. And currently he is CHRO of L&T Metro Rail, Hyderabad Limited. So welcome, Sudipto. Thanks for giving us time.
Thank you, Amit. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so to start with, why HR? Why did you decide to start your career in HR, Sudipto?
When you come to this world, we don't really decide everything, right? Things are being decided by someone else.
Okay,
So we only try our little bit. So I would say that, sometimes we say it is by choice, by chance, or by design. I think it's a combination of all, right? So, of course, it's by choice. There is a certain element because, I thought at that point of time when I was looking for my MBA, I was kind of a little bit inspired by my peers in the college that everybody was riding cat, going to IIMs, etc. And I also thought, I should be probably getting into that uh, zone as a career. My father is a, right now retired professor. So I
okay,
come from the academics background. So while they had a slight inclination that I'll also move into academics, but never forced me anything. But as I said that during my college, this is the environment. Environment plays a huge role. That when people around you are all appearing for CAT, trying for IIMs and XLRI or TASE, etc. I also got somehow carried away by that, and so that's only seeing a little bit of by choice. But whether it is HR, that you can say a little bit by chance, because I was very sure that if I have to do my MBA, I have to do it from a premier institute. So I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing an MBA. And my father had told me once that whatever you do, if you are among the top, among the best, then only it makes sense.
correct.
So I somehow remember it till date that okay, it has to be the best, whatever I do. So I gave exams for few premier institutes. TIS was one of them. It worked out, and I would say at that point of time during a college, I think today also it happens. People do not have much idea about what is coming up as a part of the career or courses they are
Correct,
choosing. So it's a big
correct,
problem. So I also had a little bit of misconception about HR at that point of time, just because I was in a part of a lot of initiatives in the college. I thought HR would also be a good profession for me. But so what I realized over a period of time that that's how I got into HR in TIS. But I realized over a period of time it really doesn't matter. What matters is that your fundamentals should be very strong.
very
If
nice.
your fundamental is strong, you can take up anything of your liking. Today, having worked in the industry for close to 3 decades, I'm very confident to take up anything in marketing or in other functions as well, right?
Very nice.
But yes, so that's what it is. So it only takes about a little bit of time to get understand, because we don't do rocket science
Correct,
in the corporate. What
correct.
you need to know, you need to be analytical, you need to be curious, you need to have the fire in the belly to know other things and connecting the dots. So
So,
I don't want to, talk so much at the beginning, but I really passionately talked about that because I think it is not about why HR, but it's about how you look at any function.
very nice. So, one very important lesson in the starting itself, Sudipto, you said that you were influenced by peer group. So who were top achievers or who had that mindset, because a person is an average of the five people he or she spends the most time with. So is it important point to have good company? So your friends, you should choose carefully who have that, maybe that fire in the belly to move ahead in life, because this is how you will also move ahead in life faster.
Amit, interestingly, I think it can play both ways, right?
Correct.
Uh, Sometimes I think it also works out that you are in a company where you are uh, probably above others, then you gain tremendous confidence by yourself that okay, I'm the best. But that can be a misconception at time as well,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
I think it's a combination of both is required. So good company definitely helps because as we know from the psychology point of view also that bringing up or the environment or the context, these three are extremely important, right? Particularly as you move into the corporate world or in your career, whether it
Hmm.
is corporate, non-corporate, context makes a huge difference, right?
Okay.
And it is, if I can expand that, that it is also there are enough stories about how in the society context plays a huge role,
Hmm.
right? So obviously you need to be in the right context where you are surrounded by positive people,
Correct.
people who are trying to do things rightly. But I would say that you need to have that right balance. But while you are influenced by your surrounding, but at the core, you need to have that kind of confidence and conviction about yourself that I can do it. So
Correct.
if you only have that, then context will play wonder as a kind of a catalyst.
Very right. Very right. Very well put, Sudipto. So, see, one question which I wanted to ask is only 0.5% people they reach the CXO level. I mean, I worked for the corporate world in 15 years and I saw people falling on this side. I also moved out myself. So, to work in such top companies throughout your career, moving from one good company to another and reach the pinnacle. So, what is your secret of success?
You know, I firmly believe that success is a very relative term.
Correct.
Okay, what you say is pinnacle may not be important at all to someone, right?
Correct.
And I think so. I don't think that it's reaching at the pinnacle. So what you aspire by yourself, try to achieve that, right? If you are able to achieve that, then it is success to you. It may not be success to someone else, right? I would always say don't get into that peer pressure and
Mhm.
define your success by others.
Very nice. Very nice. So,
I think one has to typically remember that. And I would say there are so many successful people, in the society, uh, um, or in the families. They are much more successful by, probably doing many more things, which probably in the so-called, acceptable world may not be defined as success,
correct.
but they are success.
Correct. Very right. Very, very right. But like you said, that you have to aspire to achieve what you want. So, are we talking about goal setting? What do you want? Are you aware of what you want? So, have you done some goal setting to be able to achieve that, or you are just following with the flow?
Again, I would say that yes, um, there is some sort of determination, some sort of plan that is required. Now,
Mhm.
why I spend so much of time to tell that success is relative? Because most of the time, people really don't understand what they want.
Correct.
And that's why one has to be really clear that this is my passion, this is what I feel I'm good at, this is what where if I'm there, I'll feel happy, I'll be happy. And if that happens, that it becomes much easier for someone to sail the boat and drive through. Okay. So having done that, I would say there is no substitute to hard work and sincerity.
Very nice.
Once you're very clear about, this is how I define success, this is what I want to do. Okay. And then, go for that. Then have the integrity. Integrity is the kind of hygiene factor, but then hard work, sincerity, those are I would put as a premium in terms of reaching uh, in the pinnacle of your own defined success.
See, when I started my career, the point of discussion in the initial few years with my classmates would be that certain classmate is earning so much. He has this package or she has that package. And so on the other side, the goal setting that this is where I want to reach 10 years down the line, and these are the skills I need to learn, or this is where I want to be 12 years, 15 years down the line. That goal setting, I did not, at least I did not think about. And unfortunately, or whatever, we did not have the technological tools available, or we did not have CHROs like you who are willing to share their wisdom with people who are starting their career. So for that person who's just starting his career in HR in particular, and maybe generally from any department. So like you said that goal setting is important, then hard work and sincerity, then integrity. Why is integrity important? Because currently the narrative of all over the world, maybe, or more so in India, because what we come across is that achieve success by any means. So you feel that something is good or bad or whatever, but in case it is important for your growth, you uh, get about doing it. So integrity, if you could share some more thoughts on integrity. Why is integrity important for for everybody, but more so for young HR professionals or young professionals?
Sometimes I think the word integrity is taken little out of context, right? If you really go by one of the definitions of integrity, it would be that whether are you true to yourself in terms of what you say and do really do that. Okay, that's a very core basic definition of integrity. Now, what you are talking about, probably what you are meaning, I don't know, maybe it's you are talking about the value system, right?
Correct.
And then the value system differs from people to people, right? So I can give you an example that what someone uh, could be considered himself or herself as a freedom fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and then same person can be seen from the other side as a terrorist,
Correct.
right? During our freedom fighting movement, you will find that thing, right? So I don't want to get into that debate,
Mm-hmm.
but what I'm saying that your value system should decide that okay, what I'm doing it and for what, right? And it is very difficult to say what is right, what is wrong, right? But only what I say that you have to be true to yourself and you have to be true to other people
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what you say and what you are doing, right? As long as you are not harming others,
Mm-hmm.
you are not uh, flouting the rules,
Mm-hmm.
you are not doing illegal things,
Mm-hmm.
unethical things,
Mm-hmm.
then you're fine. So the way it has to be seen that your value systems and your integrity should be such that whatever I talked about, right, those
Correct.
are not compromised with.
I understand. I understand. Another thing was young people don't know what they want. So it's like in this industry, my colleague, my classmate is earning so much. In that profile, somebody is earning so much. So I should be also trying, maybe join that company. So how to decide? How should they decide? Like you talked about passion, that the goal and the passion. Could we have some more thoughts on that, Sudipto?
I think this question I also came across many times when I go to different B schools and people ask me this question. So I tell only one thing. For a fresher, there is nothing to lose. So you whatever you get, you gain from that.
Correct.
So your first focus should be, whatever be my placement in terms of this organization or that organization, am I getting the best in terms of the
Learning.
investment of learning
Correct.
I'm doing it from that organization, right?
Correct.
So that's how one has to look at it, right? So that's why sometimes I feel if too much of a goal can also distract or
Correct.
demotivate people.
Correct.
As again, I'm saying if you're true to yourself, that okay, I want to do this for myself, my happiness, my success, then I think you are done. Problem happens when people start looking from being inward to outward and start comparing themselves with others,
Correct.
right? But that's where you are not capitalizing or leveraging the full potential of what you can do in terms of your learning and contribution.
Correct.
So it's an open mind, right? That when you are joining a new job, if it is a organization A, you have a different kind of a culture, different kind of challenges, different kind of a
Correct.
dynamics. Learn that at some point of time that will be extremely useful in your future. If you are joining another organization which is extremely process oriented,
Mhm.
try to get the best out of it because that process orientation will help you in future. Then probably you are missing out on the organization A. Try to get that sometimes in the course of your career. If your organization joining organization C, then that might have certain different things to offer, right? Life is not about just one way of stereotype looking at it, right? And as you grow up, then you will realize that so many things to learn from so many kind of organizations and so many kind of contexts, so many kind of environments, right?
Correct.
So that's the opportunity. So what is the problem at the beginning of the year? Now the point is, right? At the end, I all feel that at the end, all is equal. So if you are thinking that someone is earning a lot of money at the beginning, probably that person is probably not investing that much on that. But wherever you are, if you are able to invest on yourself and be true to yourself and the organization and contribute with sincerity and dedication, money will follow.
Correct.
So money should not be the focus at the beginning, because remember, I always tell that for every individual there is an organization
Okay.
to begin with and thereafter.
Okay.
So if you are really sincere, really true to yourself and the organization, then you will go through the right path. And if you start thinking that, okay, I should have been in this organization, grass is always greener on
Correct.
the other side, but then you are getting a problem, and that's how probably you are not able to reach to your own defined success.
Correct. Correct. Very nicely put. In fact, you started by saying that you may plan, but it's Almighty who decides what happens. So very nicely put. So Sudipto, one important question is, see, when I started my career, HR was looked from at a certain point of view. I'm talking about some 27, 28 years back. And now HR is now a strategic partner rather than a support function. HR is now a strategic partner. And now the way the world is moving with so many disruptions and anxiety issues and so many other mental health challenges and so many other things, the role of HR, apart from a strategic partner to manage human capital, is all the more important. So on these 2 points, something from you.
See, I tell you, in an organization, what would someone want from an employee?
Mhm.
The organization would want that this person, this employee, contributes in a rightful manner and helps the organization to grow.
Correct.
Right? That's the basic expectation.
Correct.
Now, for that matter, if you'd like to contribute and convince in a manner that this is going to be useful for the organization,
Mhm.
why would the owner, promoter, or the management not like it?
Correct.
Right? If someone is not liking it because of political reason in the organization or something, then it's a wrong place. Question is, do you really need to be there or not, right?
Okay.
So if you think positively, if you want to contribute for the organization in the rightful manner, eventually you'll become in the right place.
Okay.
Okay, so that's my broad belief. Okay.
Mhm.
Now coming back to the specific question of HR as a business partner, whatever. Yes, it is true, because ultimately HR is not away from business. HR is a part of business,
Correct.
right? But I think the way in past we had looked at HR has created this sort of a tag. Oh, this is HR. This is not not a part of HR. They don't understand. And I see that there are a lot of cases people don't want to understand business, right?
Hmm.
But I think when someone joins an organization, person should not start thinking about themselves that I am so and so.
Hmm.
Start thinking that I am a business leader or business contributor, business manager. So if your purpose is very clear that my contribution has to make an impact for the business, then you will do all the right thing, right? So
Mhm.
today I am in an organization in L&T itself, L&T Metro Rail, which is a kind of like a startup, right?
Mhm.
Uh, because we just started, and L&T traditionally has not been into this kind of operating, metro rail. It has been mostly into the construction side. It's the first project where we are doing it, and we are doing it so nicely. So my role, I have not defined within HR. I am equally equipped in marketing. I'm equally equipped into the operational result. I'm equally equipped with the financial result. So I can have eye to eye conversation in our leadership team meeting with all of them. And as a result, most of the time I lead the discussion in non-HR related area, and ask question, and respectfully people respond to that because they see there is a value to that thing. But that doesn't come just because saying that I need to be a strategic business partner. But then you need to also understand and get into that. And as I rightly said, that there is no rocket science. You know, you need to have right curiosity, right interest. When I got a transfer as a CHRO for this organization, I spent enough time getting into the technicality.
Very
You
nice.
know, I went to the depot, I went in the night shift, not only meeting people, I know that that's my core area of people, but I also, as a part of my induction, I went to that level of detail that each of those racks, right, in the train, what's the kind of AC, what is the tonnage of AC, how it operates, that detailing I need to understand, right? Similar case with regard to business numbers. Every day I track my ridership number, how many passengers are going, where it is falling short, how is it in comparison to last year, what we should do, like that. So I spend more time, or rather equal time, with business, understanding the business, knowing business, with a genuine interest, not because that HR should be a strategic partner, because I
Very nice.
feel that that's how we need to contribute, right? And
Very
when
nice.
that happens, automatically you are a part of the equal partner in the boardroom, right?
And you get respected by the other departments also that
Yes.
this guy means business. So two things which I want to ask. First is, see, right now you are at a senior level. Can you give us an example when you were at a junior level and when this natural curiosity made you understand some part of business not related to HR, which helped you in your HR related duties? So your
I got
curiosity.
it. I got it. So, see, what I'm immediately remembering, when I was studying in TISS, used to have field work.
Okay.
Okay, so for a couple of months, used to do to different, attached to different organizations. I remember every field work when I had gone, I might have given one project, but my first job was to understand the business. I really wanted to. I remember one, ABN AMRO Bank was one of that. Completely tried to understand what is wealth management, what is consumer banking, what is corporate banking. And it was fascinating for me to understand that, right? So when I'm able to know that, I mean, of course, during internship period, you are there only for a short period. But if you're in an organization, when you try to understand that, it really helps you, because then in unconscious manner, you are trying to see whatever I'm doing in my HR work, how is it relating to the
Correct.
business, right?
Correct.
So I can give you many examples, right? I don't know whether you'll have time or not. In Asian Paints, there is a requirement came to train certain number of people. I'm not saying employees, right? Who are the CNF agent.
Mhm.
Then I did a whole organizational transformation initiative in Asian Paints, which lasted for about 6 months, and then it is still carrying on in the name of Samadhan,
Very nice.
where we impacted 25,000 dealers. Okay, so it's a business transformation, but that was initiated and eventually led by HR, by me. But when business told me that okay, these people needs to be trained on something, then when I went deep, then I realized it is not about training. This is something to do with processes, some changes that has happened recently, and then took up this proposal with the CEO of sales, and then we ran this initiative across.
Very nice.
So that's one way of looking at it in the middle management. And yes, if you want to look at certain direct impact, I was in one of the retail organizations where you know there is a need to break even, right? So if you talk about breaking even, then the question is that how are you going to look at every cost, right?
Correct.
So I knew what is my main cost in that industry. Is it basically the real estate cost is the highest? Then what is my electricity cost? Then it comes to people cost also.
Correct.
Right. So when I am focused with that I have to break even, then I'm looking at all the cost, and then so where I'm looking at, how can I look at the people cost? So there is an opportunity to, in terms of restructure in a manner, so
Mhm.
that we are more productive,
Very nice.
more effective, and that's where I did that whole, which saved about 6 crore rupees annually cost by being more productive in that retail organization, right?
Very nice.
And when you do that, people really think that it is going to take up a job, and people get scared. So that's where your HR skill comes in, to be fair and transparent, and to ensure that with the business managers, line managers, you do a thorough job to ensure that you are fairly looking at people, and then right communication, creating the opportunity for people to do more, be more productive, and thereby accelerated career growth. That's how we looked at it. So it is not about, okay, just restructuring doesn't mean always that you have to get rid of people.
Very nice. Very nice. It's so powerful. It's even so powerful not only for the junior management HR people, but even senior HR people. Anyway, so see, a young HR professional, how does he or she know more about the business side of the organization? So how do they learn? Do they spend more time with the business people while having lunch, or during coffee break, or they take out some time during the month to spend by planning? How should they learn about the business in case they are not as curious as by God's grace you are?
I don't have answer. I mean, if you really ask, that tell me what are the formula to get a Nobel Prize. So I won't be able to tell that, right? That okay, this is how it will do. You'll get a Nobel Prize next year, right? So it basically comes with a lot of things, right?
Correct.
Curiosity, your interest, your sincerity, your way of looking at things, right? And this happens. Some information probably people think people will come and give it to you, right? But if you're really curious, now you should be able to get that thing, right? Then you have to connect the dots. Okay. On that point, I'd like to tell you one more thing, that as you grow up in the career, mm, or maybe if you look at that, when you are a child, you are a student, what were you doing? Our education system was basically helping you to collect information,
Correct.
then you later on translate into the knowledge, right?
Correct.
Wisdom. How does that happen? That you are bombarded with lot of information, right?
Correct.
In the books, so many things are there. Now, what are you going to, how are you going to make use of that? At certain point of time, I started seeing that I have got collected lot of dots.
Mm-hmm.
There's the time when I have to connect the dots also.
Mm-hmm.
So as I go along, then I always start connecting the dots. So that's what I think has helped me a lot, that it is not collecting the dots, but connecting the dots, right? So, it would have been better for me that at the same pace, or maybe at a accelerated pace, I would have collected the dots and connected the dots
Mm-hmm.
also. Then I would have got a Nobel Prize probably. But, you know, even if you are not collecting the dots, but start connecting the dots, that talks about a lot of reflection. So that means when I go back home, then
Correct.
also a lot of things that at the back of my mind, right? It keeps on working with me, right? I think this is how, what, right? The typical those question, what, how, and why particularly. If I keep on thinking, then I get a lot of insights myself. And I feel that you have to develop that kind of ability where you are not looking for answers to be given by someone, but
Mm.
you have to find out answers by yourself.
Very nice.
That would happen by asking powerful questions to yourself. And if you are able to do that, then all the knowledge you are talking about, that will you will find out how to get that, right. There is no formula, right? It's like no formula to get a Nobel Prize like that, right? So nobody can do that. You have to do it by yourself.
Very, very succinctly put. So we started with analytical skills, curiosity, fire in the belly, connecting the dots, and then reflection. See, I have a question here. See, human beings, we are designed because we evolved from animals. We are designed, or we are wired. I keep on talking about brain rewiring because that is what I do. We are wired to not think. I mean, it's not we don't think, but to think and plan ahead, or to reflect, it's not that easy. It sounds maybe at our age maybe it sounds not, but for a young professional who has, there is social media, there is peer pressure, there is job pressure, and they usually don't find time to think, and then they are not wired to think. So is it a discipline? Is it the discipline that you have to take out some time, if not every day, at least on a weekend, and spend some time thinking about what you have learned in the entire week, or where you want to go, and the gap analysis, etc., everything.
So I know it's a combination of arts and science, as I say, right? So it is not that okay, there is a clear-cut formula that will help you to think. But I think initially some sort of a discipline, hard work is required, and then automatically it should come to you as a flow, as a natural behavior of yourselves, right?
Okay.
So for doing that initial, setting the right tone for one individual, ensuring that initial disciplines happen, I I think there are a lot of opportunities are there. There are courses, there are organizations. I think Kushalta is also doing some sort of work, as I'm aware that in terms of uh, you know uh, rewiring the brain and
Yeah, thank
changing
you.
the mindset, etc. But that is just probably at the beginning, right? Someone can
Correct.
just help you, but
Correct.
ultimately the individual who has to get into that habit. It should come naturally. One should enjoy that. Okay.
Correct.
And I must tell you that I keep on hearing when I go to the B schools, etc. People say, no, whatever we study, we understand that after you get into the work, uh, that bookish knowledge doesn't have any relevance to the practical work. I said, then why did you waste your 2 years? Right? You should have straight away joined after graduation, right?
Correct.
And you could have done that. But actually, it is not, because your 2 years of MBA, like your 4 years of engineering, they show you the world, that
Correct.
these are the opportunities, these are the possibilities, right? You need not master everything during that point of time, but you should try your sincere effort to do justice to what you are doing in terms of your 2 years course.
Correct.
But when you get back to work, then every action of yours should relate to what I had learned. Because it will be related to that area, right? What I had learned. Is it so, right? And nowadays, it's very easy. If you have any confusion, you can just Google it, and you get so much of information, right, wrong, and that's where your brain starts working. That let me find out what would be the right and why. Hmm?
Correct.
And that's how you train your brain also, right? So one way
Correct.
it is easy. When it is booked, it is somebody has researched, and this is the only way of doing this. But when you are working, things are not black and white, things are gray. So I
Correct.
think this information and misinformation put together in Google also helps you to train your brain to find out the black and white from the gray. Right? That's what I'd like to put it. So that's what I tell you. And so today, when I asked, in my team, a young MBA girl, when I asked you, have you studied this? Oh, I had studied this 2 years ago. I have forgotten. I said, I had studied it 27 years ago, but I still remember, because whenever I do an action, then I remember that this is how it is related.
Correct.
Okay. And I particularly tell that when I take a young management trainee or an intern, what I look forward to, that person will actually tell what is new in this subject, what is newly researched, what does the typically right thing in the theory says. And I know I'm not doing exactly the manner it is written in the book, but that's where the practical thing is different, because when I'm an operating manager, as an operating manager, my job is to balance and optimize the variables and constraints. Then I know that if I have a constraint, then if I have to optimize that, I need to compromise a little bit on the exactly bookish right thing to get the best result out of it. To what extent I'll do it, on which variable I'll play with, that's based on my experience. I'll do that. But for a kind of a management
Yeah.
trainee or intern, that person should not get carried away. That person should learn that how I'm using optimization technique, how I'm taking decisions based on the constraints. But he or she should be focused in terms of what is the right thing. So that's where one would know that why I'm making this compromise from the exactly authentic copybook right thing, and what's the ROI I'm getting it out of this optimization technique.
Very nice. So one very important question, Sudipto. See, from a young HR professional's point of view, I mean, more so for a professional in any department, but especially in HR professionals' point of view, this person, he or she has to do his or her own KRAs on a daily basis and a lot of work on HR person's plate. Then there are traffic issues. There are other time consuming issues which in today's metro living we cannot, urban living we cannot do anything
Avoid.
about. And then they have to learn about other businesses, other departments.
Hmm.
How can a young HR professional do that? How to manage time? How to find time to do that?
Well, see, I tell you one thing, right? So let's look at uh, someone who plays well, a student, or a student, he or she sings very well.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, if you say that this person would become Lata Mangeshkar or Sachin Tendulkar, then you have to give a separate focus to that, right?
Correct. Correct.
But if you don't want him or her to become uh, Lata Mangeshkar or Sachin Tendulkar, what would you say? That okay, you do study, you do your work, but at the same time you also continue with your
Singing.
uh, singing or playing a little bit. So because the person has already got that knack or interest,
Hmm.
I'm talking about they are interested,
Hmm.
then they will do to a certain extent.
Correct.
Similarly, in HR, when you are joining, you need not become that, okay, I'm joining HR. Now I need to be a master of all the business areas to become CEO in next 2 years. That's not the aim. I
Correct.
would rather say if somebody is joining as an HR, what is important is the initial years. You consolidate your functional skill. That is extremely important. Subject
Hmm.
matter expertise is very, very important.
Hmm.
Today, I see in the name of um, HR business partnership or name of operations HR, people just do a lot of activities, but they really don't consolidate in terms of subject matter expertise in the HR itself. That is very important. So if you want to really grow, become the CHRO, or for that matter, any CXO, then at the beginning of your career, you need to have that expertise, and slowly 1 or 2 areas your expertise should be very high.
Hmm.
It is not possible that one will become an expert in all the areas, right? But in
Correct.
certain areas, right? So that depth, the beginning of the career is very important, and as you grow up, slowly you need to start increasing your breadth.
Very nice.
So that's how one will take up higher responsibility, able to understand the nuances of different function, different businesses, and larger view, right? So that is important. So as you are increasing your breadth, so one of the way of looking at is business also is a part of that.
Correct.
You don't focus that okay, I need to be a marketing expert and finance expert in next 2 to 3 years. Don't do that. Right? But focusing on your functional skill is very important. So that's one thing. Now, second thing is you are saying that there are people they probably are extremely good in studies, etc. So they also say, I'm going to do excellently went in the functional skill and do that. But remember, in an organization to be successful, it is not organization is not meant for one individual you, right? It's basically other people, ecosystem in terms of customers, vendors, suppliers, so many things. So people is a, a, a kind of a very, very important part in this ecosystem. So one has to, along with the functional knowledge, functional skill, one has to pick up the people skill. So people skill, teamwork, right? That is important. Now don't try to learn that I'll do teamwork. First of all, you have to have the positive attitude that I need to be solution centric. I need to start helping people. I need to make other people successful. If you do that, that will be directly or indirectly will be seen today or tomorrow by higher management, and it will be seen as you are a good leader who are helping your peers to be successful.
Very nice.
Okay, so that's how one has to grow, because this is the area of people skill where our education system generally, traditional education system has not really paid much attention to. I think
Correct.
nowadays the system is changing. New NEP and other things are becoming more practical oriented, group oriented, project oriented. That's fine. But so far it has not happened. So this is what one area one has to pick up, or probably organizations like yours would also help people to give that insight and then train people towards that, right? And in that context, I say that listening to people is very important. Understand what is probably unsaid, and if you are trying to do that, then you will see that a lot of problems are getting solved from the people point of view.
Very powerful.
And probably one last thing, you asked me at the beginning, what is the success or whatever. As I said, success is very relative, and I don't think what you talked about pinnacle of success is, I considered it as a very moderately successful in the eyes of lens of other people. Okay. uh, and in for to become that, what is important is, I think, primarily two things for HR people. One is common sense, and another is empathy.
Very nice.
Having done on your sincerity, dedication, hard work, integrity, then if you just try to focus on common sense and empathy, then I think that will really help one individual, right? And see what happens if you start using only common sense and logic, then you are not taking people along.
Correct.
But if you are only being very empathetic, to people, then you are sometimes not forgetting to use logic, uh, you know, probably your analytical skill and your ability to connect dots. So you have to have these two, and it's very simple word: common sense and empathy. Then I think that will, make someone to be successful, right?
You give that example of Asian Paints where you were asked to do something else, but you found out the problem was something else using your common sense and analytical skills, and you created something very powerful.
Yeah,
So
and to implement that, a lot of empathy was required actually.
a lot of empathy was required. Very nice. All right. So see, we talked about contextualize the right context. So could we have something more on that?
I first heard about this way back in the year, I think about 25 years ago. I was attending one conference and then I was told a story, and it really stuck with me till date, right? That point of time, one very senior HR leaders told that, in the 1984, that's the first time when metro rail was introduced in India, and that's
Calcutta.
the city of Calcutta, right? And I remember, it was in the month of October when I also had an initial curious travel. Only the fourth station used to be there. So the story or example given by him was that point of time, the normal impression of outsiders about Calcutta was that it's a dirty city, right? It's very old, dirty city. That person said the same city, when you go underground and you see the metro platform, railways inside the train, it is spick and span, absolutely clean. Same set of people behaving very differently when they are underground. So it's not about people, basically it's about the context, and people's behavior change based on the context.
Very nice.
And the role of management, role of senior leaders, is to create the right context,
Very
and
nice.
then you'll see the behavior will change.
Very nice. Very powerful. So, see, we also talked about depth and breadth, and in the initial few years, an HR professional should go deeper into the function that she is in or he is in. So, it could be any function, like it could be payroll compensation, it could be benefit, or it could be hiring, it could be or any function that you go deeper into that, or is there any certain function that is very, very important for a future career growth?
Any function. So,
Okay.
any function. But the point is the ability to go deep into that and look at things from a very logical, analytical mind, questioning, why and how. If you master that skill, then you will take up things one by one.
Okay.
So if you are in the recruitment role, in the first role, do the best in terms of getting the best expertise out of recruitment. If you are put into the compensation role, do the best in that compensation role. If you are put into the organizational development role, then try to get the best out of organizational development role, right? So that's where I look at it. So basically, that going into the depth and understanding that would actually continue throughout your life,
Correct.
right? So that's what I'm saying. And you will see that the best of the CEOs, they're extremely detailed oriented.
Correct.
So while they are looking into larger business problems, but if you go with one small projects related to either finance or HR, or for that matter any admin issues, they would go deep into that to understand that, because that's in their DNA, right? So that getting into the depth should be your DNA, and that should continue throughout the your career. But as you grow up, because you're finishing one areas, so your breadth will automatically increase.
I think these are very powerful insights. Context, detailing, reflections. These are so very powerful insights that you hardly get to know about in the normal course of life. Maybe that is why these interactions why with senior people like you are so important. So, in the changing world, AI again, we keep on hearing so much about AI. So, it is a tool. How can young HR professionals use this tool to, do good things?
I think that's a very different topic. I have had enough podcast panel discussions on this. We can continue doing like that. I would not really like to get into that, because I have a little different view about that, right?
Okay.
In my view, HR, if you have to really break it down to the simplistic term,
Mm-hmm.
basically it talks about 3 P: past, pattern, and then prediction.
Okay.
Right? So AI has been there since 1940s,
Correct.
but we only started, seeing this impact of AI in last about 10, 20 years, because big data coming in, internet providing a lot of data
And the
that help us in
calculation.
terms of analyzing the past, seeing the pattern, and thereby prediction, right?
Correct.
So whatever you see, whether it is generative AI or agentic AI, they're talking about agentic AI is actually taking decision, and this thing, its fundamental remains the same, that you are actually looking at the past data and putting a lot of context. That's
Correct.
what it is. So I would say that not only the HR folks, any individual should look at AI as an enabler, because that's what it is helping you to look at repetitive work differently. So you don't really need to spend a lot of time, probably what you would have done it yourselves earlier. Now AI is able to do that. So upgrade yourself, leverage that time, that when AI is doing that work for you, now you have enough time to do analysis and get into the more value adding work.
Correct. So we have talked a lot about from the point of view of young HR professionals. Anything for mid-level HR professionals at mid-level?
No, I think I talked about everything, right?
Okay.
Breadth,
So
this thing,
finally,
but since you have specifically asked that, I can tell you. So mid-level is always a difficult area, right?
correct,
If you
correct,
look at cricket, middle orders, they play an
correct,
important role. If you look at football, midfields, that is important, right? So if I take the analogy of cricket, that if your opening batsmen are doing very well, then it becomes easy for you as a coming at a middle order to do this thing. But imagine if your uh, openers are not doing well, there's a lot of pressure on the middle order, right? So middle order has got the opportunity to basically build
hmm,
from where it had started. And in corporate sector, you will find that they are also kind of sandwiched between your front line and the top management, right?
correct,
So I think that's a very difficult but sweet spot to be in,
hmm,
because middle order is the most important. It's like a backbone of any game, any organization, right? So you have to play it very sensibly. That's why, right? So as a middle order, it could be you are just a manager, or it could be just a manager's manager, just a manager's manager. So you have to understand your role. That if you're a manager,
hmm,
your job is to get the work done from the individual contributor.
correct,
You cannot do that jobs for themselves, because you think I have done it for so many years, I'll be able to easily do it. That's easy. But you spend more time, it's more difficult, but still get the job done
through
through your,
them, correct,
not by whip, by enabling them, by teaching them, guiding them, asking them the right questions to ensuring they are enabled to do it for you in future. Every time you need not do it for them or need not guide for them. That's a very difficult skill that one has to do that, right?
Correct.
So that's what I would say the as a manager's role. In some organization, managers could be middle manager. In some organization, large organization, managers could be the middle management.
Correct.
So there, the manager's role is to see that how you are guiding and enabling managers to get the jobs done from the individual contributor.
Very nicely put, Sudipto. So we have been talking for more than an hour. I just realized. And I didn't realize how soon time passed. So one last question. See, in the changing scenario today, there are a lot of mental health issues. There are a lot of anxiety issues, and everybody is suffering from them. So how do you keep physically and mentally fit? Do you exercise? Do you meditate? We talked about reflection. So something on this as the final part to this podcast.
This is the question I should avoid because young generation or others should get misguided, right? I'm not at all the right example
Okay.
for that, right? But I think for me, what really works is the positivity,
Okay.
the outlook of mind to look at things positively. And I get tremendous amount of inspiration or relaxation by thinking positive, right?
Very nice.
And everybody has his or her own way of own channels of venting out and managing stress, etc. So I look at my passionate areas or hobbies. For example, I think about photography, I think about travel, I think about cricket match, etc.
And
Right?
also football.
Even though I come from that area where football is very favorite, I have played enough football, but I'm not very good at that. So
Okay.
okay, I get more pleasure thinking about the cricket,
Very nice.
incidentally. So, but what I'm saying is that there has to be a proper balance between your mind, body, and soul, right?
Correct.
The people who are able to do that thing properly, I think they are the most beneficial out of it. There is no iota of doubt about that thing. I think, so just because I am doing this, everybody should not follow it because I said that would be a wrong example. This is my way of doing this thing, but I wish I could have been able to do a better balancing of body, mind, and soul. That would have been definitely much more helpful for me.
On this note, thank you, Sudipto. Thanks for giving us time. I'm sure it's going to benefit so many people in so many different ways. Thank you so much.
I'm glad if it benefits at least one. Thank you very much for inviting me to this session. And it was a pleasure interacting with you. And it was what I liked most about it is a very candid thoughts. It was
Correct.
not predefined, not like preparation. And I think that was the purpose. So,
Of this podcast, yes.
yes. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Thank you, Sudipto.